Hello. Thought I was going to be able to check if the sound was okay. Good. I just didn't want an echo to come through. Hello. Let's see. Well, let me pin the comment now. No, it will not. Marielle. Oh, there we go. Finally. Okay, now I can pin the message to the top. Jeez. Okay. YouTube be weird. Hey, Tana. Welcome. How was y'all's day? Hi, Shauna. Or your weekend? How's your weekend been? I always work all weekend, so I like to live vicariously through other people's weekends. Ooh, it's still a little hot. Okay. Chill on that. Welcome. Really can't wait for this discussion here. Hi, Audrey. Mug Twins, you have the same one? You have the same one? The craft weirdos from the Spirit Halloween. They have the best mugs. I stand by that. I stand by that. Okay, the pile of books on my chair is going to have to move. I feel like I'm not comfortable. Okay, there we go. Woo! All right. This is going to use all the time. Yep. I cycle between that one and my Charmed one that has definitely made an appearance. Definitely made an appearance before. Use the mug for cat treats. That's cute. Oh my God, Marielle. Snaps for Marielle. She didn't DNF this book. Because you didn't start it. I mean, it's not a DNF if you didn't start it. So, okay, so Marielle's here to get all the tea, I guess, on this book. Everyone has thoughts. I think this is probably one of our like strongest I guess like mostly negative, like it's our strongest, like lowest rated book, I think. I know everyone kind of like shares their rating usually on the live stream. Now that we have the read along thing, it gives us like an average rating out of everyone who read it who was on Storygraph, and I think it was like a 2.2 or something like that. I'm really excited to like have the read alongs in that sense, so I can like look at stats like that and see like I'll be able to look at the whole year and see like what like on average like what our highest rated one was and our lowest rated one. I think it's going to be really fun. Hi, Melissa. Oh, your library didn't have it. Okay. Well, you'll get all the tea here. There will be spoilers though, probably. So as long as you're cool with that, then it is absolutely fine if you want to chill with us. Welcome. Hi, Keiki, Chet. Hey, guys. Left you unsatisfied and confused. Yeah. Yeah, the tea. Yeah, the tea is piping hot, literally and figuratively. I have some hot tea here. I figured it would be appropriate. So I guess for anyone hanging out who didn't read the book, I can give you a quick summary in the best way that I can, because this book is very interesting. So for January, our January pick was The Light Most Hateful by Hailey Piper. So the book starts like on an evening in a really small town, and we're following Olivia, who is kind of like a runaway. She has run away to this town and has been here for a couple of years, I think. And this like freak storm rolls through town, and it like makes everybody crazy. Like most of the town has kind of gone into this like zombified state, and they get like really violent if you provoke them. There's like a monster running around. I just realized I'm like, where do I go from here to describe this book? Um, and then a bunch of stuff happens that we'll definitely discuss in here. And then come to find out that Olivia's best friend in town, Sunflower, is like the reason for all of this happening, and everything is coming from her brain. It's all very weird. I keep using the word like amorphous to describe this book, and I feel like that's just the best word I can think of for this. So, had anyone in the chat, have you guys read another like Hailey Piper book before? I know somebody did mention it in the read along, like at the end, because this was my first Hailey Piper book I've read. I've been following her on Instagram for a while. And this is the first, I think this is her most recent though too. So like she has a backlog of books. I have not read them. Hadn't even heard of her before. I don't know how I don't, it must have been through like horror books, and the algorithm kind of just sent me her page, but I don't even remember like how I came to follow her. I might have been following her on Twitter before I quit Twitter, and I might have kind of just like gone through my following list to see if I was like following people I liked. Oh, okay, Tana enjoyed this one. All right. Yeah, it's like there was another person in the read along, well, at least at the end, they left a review and they liked it as well. So the ending was mad slow, but I liked it. I was so surprised everyone didn't like it. I'm like, oh, I mean, we'll definitely get into it. There were parts of it I really liked, which kept me going through the book. And I don't know, it was just, I don't know. I just keep saying it like it wasn't for me, and I feel like that's probably the best. I would like to know if she always has an unusual name fetish and always insists on saying everyone's name 8 billion times. There are a lot of interesting names, that's for sure. Did anyone else, like when the twist hits and we realize like Sunflower has like made all of this up, because I feel like her sister's name being Gina, I almost wonder if like Sunflower is just like a name she chose for herself, because this is all happening in Sunflower's mind. Like everything is happening in her mind. So I kind of had a feeling like that was a name that she chose for herself and that wasn't her actual name. Because like, how are you going to have two daughters, name one of them Sunflower and then one of them Gina? Oh yeah, Bree like vehemently does not like this book. I read your review and the read along at the end. Yeah, Hazabel was a different name also. What, was it her sister's nickname? Okay. It's hard to tell though. It was like it was hard to tell. And then yeah, and Olivia calls her Sunshine, I think too. So I just feel like that was just like yeah. Sunshine. Yeah, her sister called her Sunshine. Well, that's true because Olivia technically is her sister, kind of in a way. That's what she's created for. I feel like anybody like just watching this who hasn't read it is like, what the fuck? So basically, Olivia's friend Sunflower is the source of all of this, and we get some like backstory. She had like, she had a very like dysfunctional family growing up, and her sister left the house and like, and she felt abandoned by her. So she she tries to run away one night. It's like in a cornfield or something, and then there's like a burst of light like enters her body, and then all of a sudden she's able to create things out of her mind. So she literally creates the town of Chapel Hill and everything in it, to create this like perfect little town where, to just like not deal, I guess, with her emotions. It's very weird. So everything in the book is a construct of this one girl's mind, and it's all happening in her mind, essentially, kind of. Or she like created it, and it's just like this town on a hill that like sprouts up in the middle of a cornfield. It's very hard to explain. Very, very hard to explain. I am sorry for anybody just chilling that has not read this book, because it's going to be hard to follow along. Yeah, exactly. Really, really tricky to explain. So I guess since I kind of already like brought it up, like what did everybody make of the light? The like light that like, I don't know, the way it's like described in the chapter where we learn more of Sunflower's backstory, where she jumps out of her mom's car and she's like running away from her in the cornfield, and then the light like like comes down from the sky and like comes inside of her, like and it's like burning up her insides and makes her create this thing. Like, what did you guys make of that? Because I think that was the hardest thing that I like, I just couldn't wrap my brain around. And I think it was just because it was like almost too ambiguous, like what it was. You know what I mean? Whereas like, is it aliens? Is it just meant to be like a just one big metaphor for something? You know what I mean? Um, Shauna thought it was aliens. Okay. Aliens. Audrey says paranormal phenomenon. Okay. And Tana, I thought the light was the dreamer, some presence that took over a part of her body and gave her the ability. Yeah, because they refer to, like, at the end, they just keep referring to her as the dreamer. Okay, so but you thought it was like another entity technically? So is it then really like, is it Sunflower doing all that? And it's like, is she still like cognizant of what she's doing? And the dreamer just gave her this ability, or did the dreamer just like completely take over her body and use what was in her brain to make Chapel Hill? They kept saying everything came from her moon, but never explained what that meant. Yeah, I just feel like the light, that whole thing with the light was so, it was just too vague for me, where I was like, but what's happening? Because then too, at the end, when Olivia and Christmas, they escape Chapel Hill, and like the cornfield is just, it's just like a big empty space now. Like the dreamer Sunflower is like now like 10 feet tall and just kind of like walks off into the into the woods at the end. It was really bizarre. Like, I feel like I could reread this book 2 or 3 more times and still not have any other conclusions. I'm really like relying on Tana here. Tana, I would love to hear your interpretation. Hi, Liam. Welcome. I think the metaphor was grief taking over her body and mind, but she made it seem like it was another thing. It wasn't explained very well, and I would have preferred to focus on the grief metaphor. Yeah, I feel like those parts were strong, and if it was just like one big metaphor for her not being able to deal with her grief and her missing her sister, I think it would have been at least more palatable to me. Like, I think I would have enjoyed it a bit more. It was like It was the really ambiguous, potentially like alien or supernatural life form that really threw me for a loop. Yeah, and then yeah, I guess yeah, the ending too is again just so many questions on top of questions. And I'm all for a vague ending, but I think yeah, I feel like you have to give us a little something to go off of where I'm just like, sure, I have no other thoughts as to what was going on, so I guess that could happen. Yeah, I feel like Gina was the because well, they refer to like Gina Knight the whole time too. Like it's this very singular event in Sunflower's life. And I think it was mostly because her family was already dysfunctional. Like her father had left and her mother is, a piece of work. Um, and so her sister was really the only like good part of her family that she perceived. So like her leaving was just like it was like a trigger event, you know what I mean? It just and she's technically a teenager, you know what I mean? And I feel like okay, bye Liam. I just feel like everything's more dramatic, I think, when you're a teenager for sure. Um, I think the book would have been a lot stronger if they really focused on Sunflower's pain, the paranormal, whatever it was, weakened the story for me. Yeah, I agree. I think the paranormal, whatever, alien thing, whatever, like I think I could have done without it. And it could have just been one big metaphor for grief. Like all the books we read, essentially. Um, At the end, I interpreted it as the alien was there, but the part of Sunflower that missed her sister was strong enough to take over. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Like any explanation, I'm like, sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a interesting thing that you bring up, like the fact that it's from Olivia's point of view, which definitely, I think it was an interesting choice. I think it adds to a lot of the confusion though, because Olivia is a construct of Sunflower. So it's like for a whole chunk of the book, she thinks she's her own person. She has a backstory, blah, 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 blah. And then we get to the point where she realizes what she is, and she kind of has a little bit of an existential crisis, like as anybody would, I think, if they discovered they weren't real and they and they were a construct of somebody's mind. Um, and then I feel like they tried to cram in a lot of Sunflower's backstory at the end, where it's like, or even if it was like a dual POV or something like that, I think I would have been happier with that for sure. Just so we could have gotten a little more backstory about Sunflower throughout the book and not so backloaded with all of that. Because like Olivia's, yeah, like it was just overshadowed by Olivia's thing, which not that like her thing wasn't valid, like it was a completely normal and I say predictable, not necessarily in a bad way, but it's like a predictable enough reaction to learning that. But it just felt like the focus of the book changed too much at the end. Like either just stay focused on Olivia or give us more Sunflower, I guess. And also I consider the fact that Olivia wasn't real queer baiting. What do you mean? Couldn't take any more queer baiting in a book club held by a lesbian. Can't take any more queer baiting in a book held by a lesbian. That was supposed to be a funny joke. Okay. That's what I think. It's not your fault. I think my brain is literally fried. It's fried from this light monster alien thing. Um, okay, yeah. Because I'm like, because I was like, genuinely, I'm just trying to think way too hard about this book. 'Cause I'm like, I don't think she was. There wasn't queer baiting. There wasn't queer baiting. Which I guess brings me to a discussion topic. You know, the queer themes in the book, because that is part of Olivia slash Gina's backstory. You know, because Olivia is a construct that's meant to represent Gina. You know, but a Gina that stays with Sunflower. Um, and so the whole backstory is that the whole reason that Gina leaves in the first place is because she was caught kissing another girl. And then Hazelbell, her mom, reacts badly to that. And then Gina leaves. And that's the reason that, like, in Olivia's mind, that's the reason she came to Chapel Hill. Like, she got caught kissing a girl and then ran away, and came to live in Chapel Hill. And then we have Christmas, of course, the they them with the it's like I almost love the name Christmas. I just feel like, yeah, it's an interesting choice of name. I kind of love it a little bit. Yeah, that was a super interesting twist when we realized, like, who Olivia was created after, right? Because it's not like Sunflower, like, it's not like there was any incest things going on. Um, but it was interesting because it's like Sunflower was creating Olivia after Gina, so obviously she knew this thing about Gina, and that ended up kind of being Olivia's backstory. But she also just wanted somebody to love her and stay by her, which is what Olivia's doing. But Olivia is like thinking she's in love with Sunflower. So like those two things like meshed. And I don't even think that was I don't know that like Sunflower really intended that. I think she kind of just wanted somebody to love her and stay by her because she was willing to like make another her. Like she tells Olivia she was going to make a sunflower for Olivia that would kiss her. If anybody's queer baiting, I feel like it's Sunflower. Like our who we think the main Sunflower is, I guess. God, this is so fucking confusing. But she's like, "Oh yeah, I'll just create a version of myself that will kiss you." Or that you can kiss or something like that, and it's yeah. Like Christmas as well. Christmas was okay, but I felt like they were often over the top. Only explanation is when Olivia says, "Oh, Christmas is the part of Sunflower that wants to be tough and cool." Yeah, I guess it was strange. I feel like weirdly, like even though it wasn't expressly said, I kind of just assumed Christmas and Olivia were both Gina. Like they were aspects of I know that that's how Olivia sees it, like it's the part of Sunflower that wants to be tough and cool, but I think it's the part of Sunflower that wants to be tough and cool because she saw Gina as being tough and cool. Because I was thinking about that a lot. I was like, I feel like they made it very clear, like Olivia's origin, but they don't really do that for Christmas. But um, I think it was just like another aspect of Gina that Sunflower looked up to and relied upon for her own feelings of like safety and things like that. I agree that the explanation or genesis of the character Christmas was weak, but I like the character itself and their nonchalant, more grounded attitude, and the fact that they just kept they just kept having to fight the like Hazabels and things like that. I guess for Marielle and anybody else just listening, Sunflower is like creating these things. They're like literally kind of like being birthed out of her brain, almost like in a Zeus way, which is weird with like the kind of like the whole idea of light. And there's like springing from her forehead a little bit, you know. It's a little bit more body horror and grotesque than that a little bit, but I just kept thinking of Zeus, you know. And she keeps creating versions of her mother, Hazabel, that get like more and more feral and beast like. And I love that Christmas is constantly just having to fight these things. And every time you think it's going to be the end and we're not going to see Christmas anymore. And then, oh, Christmas is still alive. I feel like everyone was described as really tall. I feel like Christmas was the only one who was described as really tall, right? The way Christmas's introduction really threw me for a loop. I thought Christmas was going to be the villain the whole time. Like the way they were introduced, I'm like, they're a bad character or something, right? They just appeared out of nowhere and Olivia doesn't know this person and what the heck. And then all of a sudden the strange things start happening right after Christmas shows up. And you thought that was Lizzie in disguise. Yeah, and then it turns out, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, Christmas is just there. Okay. Yeah, the introduction of everything is very jarring as well. I feel like we didn't really like we just barely get introduced to Olivia, and then all of a sudden, like bam, Christmas shows up. Then the rain thing starts happening and making people weird, and then Lizzie shows up, and it's a I did love the sapphic longing in the first chapter before everything started. What did we think about Christmas and Olivia kind of? Oh, I don't know if we want to say they get together in the end, but they do share multiple kisses. As a person who is bad at showing affection, I loved how Christmas snapped and was like, I've shown you time and time again that I care. Yeah, their reactions to things. It was almost like, and this is gonna sound weird, but maybe it's just because I have Barbie on the brain. I feel like both Olivia and Christmas were kind of like Barbie-like characters in the beginning. Like they both just had like a sole purpose, and then over the course of the story, they learned to kind of like break free of that, because like Olivia's whole thing is just staying by Sunflower's side and making sure Sunflower is okay, and she slowly starts to turn that into like caring about Christmas and then caring about herself, and the same thing with Christmas for sure. It honestly felt out of the blue for me. I didn't see them as anything other than friends. Yeah, I feel like that one, like a lot of things, it almost felt like some chapters were missing, if that if that makes sense, where I feel like it's like all of a sudden I started a new chapter and then all these things had changed. Like we got started to get towards the end and then I'm reading these chapters and I'm like, wait a second, like I feel like there's like a tension between Olivia and Christmas now that was not there just a few pages ago. And I guess it's up to interpretation whether it's like a fully romantic relationship or not. I guess just because they kiss a couple times, it doesn't necessarily mean, because it's also very like I'm about to die or I think I'm about to die kind of kiss. So it's like it could just be nothing. By the time Olivia and Christmas kissed, I was already hate reading the books. I didn't care. Oh no. Felt kind of forced. Yeah. At least maybe it wasn't, like, as developed as much, so maybe it was just kind of like a "I think I'm about to die" sort of kiss. I felt like the world is ending, I wanna kiss someone before it does, and I thought that was fine, but then at the end yeah, it was like so that one I was kind of like, "Okay," and then towards the end, I'm a little bit like, "Oh, is this like a we're, like, riding off into the sunset sort of sort of thing?" I liked their dynamic together though, just, just like their partnership, like working through this crazy fucking thing that's happening to them. So I would have liked more of just like them two, like going on an adventure or something. Maybe not an adventure like through somebody's mind created town. Which is just the main thing I think that I found hard to grasp with the book, but I also kind of understood. Like everything feels like a little like wibbly wobbly and weird in the book. But then when you realize it's because it's the product of somebody's mind, I'm like, I guess it makes sense. Like it's almost like a dream, or it's like you could be dreaming about stuff that is real, but it's always a little bit off. It's always a little bit strange because it's a dream. Um, so it's like on one hand, it's like I kind of understand why the book is the way it is, but I also wasn't really enjoying it because it was just confusing to me. And I'm like, I wonder if it's like the TV show Ghosts. If they go past the town boundaries, they get shot back into the center. Yeah, what happened? Or if like I mean, I guess if everybody or if nobody has free will in this town, would they even think to do that? Oh my god. Cause like it's all I just like lean back into my craziness now. It's all happening in the dreamer's mind, the dreamer's sunflower's mind. Um, kind of. But it is real, but it's not real. It's was the town even real? I mean, the when they escape and it disappears back into the dreamer's brain, it's just like a big empty space where the cornfield was. So it's like, did people drive past this like giant hill with a town on top of it and just like never wander into town or never go in to see what happened? Was it ever was it ever there? Was it just a product of her mind? And maybe the cornfield just died and we don't know. Oh my God. I feel like I'm going to be thinking about this forever. Is any of that making any sense? I don't know. I feel like I'm losing my mind a little bit. Yeah, right into the sunset with no yeah, that's like incidental. I didn't even I'm like at that by that point I'm not even thinking about the logistics of they're like they don't exist in the real world. If I was a teenager and created a whole town from my mind, I would not have created a high school. I still had to go to realistic. Yeah, that's the thing though. It's like if you just presented that concept to me like on paper, like, like a trauma so intense that it's very maybe I can't maybe I shouldn't compare it to that movie because it's kind of spoilery if you haven't seen it. Never mind. I won't mention it. But it reminds me of a movie. It reminds me of a movie that I really enjoyed, that I think kind of did this well. It's actually weirdly kind of similar to this book in a lot of ways. I don't want to say anything though because it might give away the movie if nobody has seen it. But um, so I feel like on paper that idea could work, and I've seen it work at least in one other movie. Um, I don't know. I just feel like It should have weirdly, hear me out. It should have been longer. I feel like we should have given ourselves some more chapters to build the world a little bit and build the characters, or like at least what we think the characters are going to be. And I stand by, at least should have been a dual POV or something. I wonder if the reason that crazy road on the cliff existed for anyone outside trying to get into town, they just died on the road. Maybe. But would that be the same for like people trying to get in? Because if like all of a sudden there was a field of corn and then a huge hill just sprouts up out of fucking nowhere one night and there's a town with a whole bunch of people living on top, like I would obviously go up the hill to be like, what the fuck is this? I gotta know the movie. Drop a clue. I don't know. I don't do name that movie. I don't know how to. What hint do I give? Hold on. Getting Silent Hill vibes from this discussion. That was not the movie I was thinking of, but I feel like that's another one that's like that's similar in a lot of ways. How does Emma do this? It's a horror mystery movie that came out in 2018. That's the movie I'm thinking of. If you want to know and you're potentially not afraid, it's very possible you've seen this movie and you're just not thinking of it right now. You can like DM me and I'll tell you what the movie is. I just don't want to say it on here just in case, involuntarily spoiling it for people. Or I'll drop it in the Discord or something. They made it sound like it was the middle of nowhere, but still it was like on a road. People would have had to have driven by, right? I think that's part of it too, that is just like I can't wrap my head around. Like there was just way too many questions. There's way too many questions. Debris, do you know? I really like the movie. I don't know if it had like mixed reviews. I really enjoyed the movie. It's kind of a tough watch. Cause like the trauma in this is like trauma. But it's not, I mean, for a horror movie, it's not got a bad rating on IMDb. That's 6.4. I really like the movie. I don't know that I'm necessarily I don't know that I necessarily got my finger on the pulse of the horror community at large, so I don't know if also really you saying tough watch confirmed, I guess. Yeah, but it's super similar, right? But I feel like the movie does this concept kind of, not obviously not exactly in the same way, but it does it really well. Or maybe it was just the way the plot was laid out. Maybe the issue is not necessarily like you know what? I'm standing by that. I don't think the problem is the story. I just think it's the way the plot was laid out. I think that I had an issue with. I just think the way it's laid out is bad. Well, I guess I'll be seeing you in your DMs. It also involves some of the themes involve an author that's quite popular that I hate. I hate. That's the only thing I don't like about the movie is the inclusion of this author that I really don't like. Yeah, you can DM me and I'll tell you what the movie is. And if you haven't seen it, I'll be looking for your review. Okay, but anyways, is there anything else about the book that anybody wants to touch on? I do have I decided to, since we did a read along for this is kind of like the last discussion part, the last little like forum. So this is like everyone's thoughts at the end. Which we had some people who liked it. It wasn't like, it wasn't all doom and gloom. You can see Breeze straight up hated the book. Oh, yeah, I guess we didn't really talk about like Hazelbell either. Other than the Hazebells, like kind of being like her vicious protectors, almost like what she wanted her to be. It's interesting. But look, you can see it was a 2.2. I was right. Yeah, that was our average rating. I can't wait to see the rest of them, honestly. I'm loving the read along fixture, because like going through each little thing here and seeing the progression of everyone's thoughts was super fun. And it was like a nice little surprise, like as I was reading. I'm going to be doing this for like every single book club pick, because I feel like it gave me more enjoyment like every time I got through each section. I'm like, oh, and I already saw like all the comments in there, which technically I think I can get into the forums because I created it. I think I can get into them even if I haven't gotten that far, but I was honest about it because it just looked like fun. I mean, we have the average rating, but what was everybody's like individual rating for this? I guess I could have just hit view all, hey, and seen everybody's. I gave it a 2.25. The lowest we had in the group by far was a 0.75. At least out of everybody who did the read along. Yeah. I gave it a 2.25. There were parts I liked. I will admit that. I think the concept was cool. The execution was bad. Oh, and I'm sorry, I didn't realize people were okay. I don't understand why, if she was a bad mother, she's the one she kept making over and over. That felt disconnected. I also don't think there was a strong explanation for why she couldn't make a Gina. Yeah, I don't know if I have like a guess in terms of like the Hazebells. Or maybe the fact like it was because, and I could be doing a bit of a reach, something I'm good at. Maybe it's because, I mean, like the real Hazebel was quite vicious, like vicious in her hate, it seems like, and she was a very bitter and hateful woman. So like Sunflower takes that hatefulness and turned it into something that was useful for her. So that kind of creates a beast out of her mother that protects her, kind of, or is useful to her instead of being directed at her. That I should be a therapist. That'll be my guess at that. If everything is just her reaction to this trauma. I also, I guess by that same stretch, that's why she couldn't make a Gina. I think it's something that like she knew it wouldn't be the same, because obviously she's so hung up on Gina leaving the entire time. I think it wouldn't have satisfied her. So she just created the best possible thing she could that was close enough, which was Olivia. Why do we think Sunflower was so quick to be like, "Who cares about my boyfriend?" I mean, did any of us care about her boyfriend? Because I didn't. I don't know. I don't know. I guess if this is all a construct of her mind, maybe she was just kind of playing out the, like, typical American teen girl experience or something. It felt very, like, out of a movie, you know what I mean? So maybe she was just thinking that's just, like, what this is what it should be like. This is what my life should be like. I should be happy. I should be doing these things, and she was just kind of, like, playing at it. I got a 3.5 from Tana, which is still, I don't know. I mean, you said you enjoyed it. Like, well, I guess like a 3.5, I would still say I enjoyed. Still not very high even. I feel like those in the group that did like it, still not a super high score. 1.5. 1.5, but I'm pretty strict on my ratings. I want to know what happened to Roy. I don't care. Oh, didn't Lizzie get him? Right? I don't remember. I guess I could flip and like find out really quick, but didn't Lizzie get him? What was Lizzie supposed to be though too? If like Olivia's definitely a part of Gina, I think Christmas, at least my interpretation of Christmas, is a part of Gina. What was Lizzie? Making Hazelbell could have also been trying to make a better mother. Yeah, at least the first Hazelbell that we meet, which is again not the real one, but she obviously was caring enough that Sunflower was alive during everything. So that I think that tracks. Maybe the light from the sky is just generational trauma. I mean, that's a theme. I just felt like she couldn't make a Gina because that wound was too raw. Like her mind couldn't touch that part. Yeah, I think it just felt like, yeah, it just wouldn't have been the same, and it would have ultimately been more disappointing, I think, if she tried to make a Gina. Okay, Dr. Maven. The description of Sunflower sitting on two Hazabels in the shoulder, Hazabel in the Mason house, was definitely creepy to me. Yeah, there were some moments of like kind of like body horror moments, I feel like, just like peppered in there that I thought were really good. Didn't care about him at all, but it was weird coming from someone who needs to be needs to be loved. Well, maybe, I mean, I am a therapist now, so I'm not actually, legal reasons I'm not, but jokingly, because I'm a therapist now, maybe she thought that that kind of love would fill the hole in her heart, but then she was just like, and it doesn't. So who cares about Roy? All I cared because they made such a big deal about it that he was just gone. True that. Oh, not confirmed what happened to Roy? Okay. I guess I just kind of like assumed because when they first find Sunflower, it's like at the like make out spot that she was going to. Uh, Lizzie was the imagine. Oh, that's right. That's right. Thank you, Audrey. Thank you. Again, see, that's why it's just the layout of the book. Like that, it's like I feel like I read a whole book before the halfway point because there was parts that's like they developed and we went through, and then that whole chapter, there's like a whole section in the middle where like none of that mattered anymore, and then we went on to new stuff and I just completely forgot about the beginning. So thank you. Forgot about that. You're right. Damn. This book was a trip. This book felt like being in the mind of someone with ADHD. It was all over the place. Like it just didn't, yeah, it just wasn't cohesive enough for me. To the fact that I even forgot like key points like that. They definitely explained Lizzie's backstory. Or her like origins or whatever, I guess I should say, not backstory. Mm. Yeah, I think even though I can't fully remember every single book we've read since Creepy Book Club started, which I think has been like 4 years now. Um, I don't think I don't think this is my least favorite. It's one of my least favorites though, I think. Um, just like overall, I guess. I think it's definitely I think it's might be one of my lowest rated ones for sure for Creepy Book Club. I really need to go through and find every single book we've read so I need to make some like stats and some charts about this. And find out when Creepy Book Club's anniversary is. I don't even know. It's just like a thing that's always been here, like it sprouted from my mind. Well, okay. So, hey, you know what? They're not always going to be bangers. The real question is, did you like it more than Getaway? I think I liked Getaway better. If I'm just comparing the two, like overall, I think I liked Getaway better. Like I was more consistently invested in the story of Getaway, whereas this one it was like waves where I'd like be really interested in what was happening and then parts where I wasn't so much. So oh Audrey, I'm sorry. I had no way of knowing that it would go like this, but for what it's worth, I am sorry. Yeah, the read along feature is super fun. I think that made this experience a little bit more fun. So I feel some sort of responsibility though that we all didn't like it. So I apologize. It was bound to happen though. Like honestly, I feel like maybe it was a little bit weird that we had all these books that we all loved so much. We had a lot of bangers. We've had a lot of bangers. Usually we're more split than this. Yeah. But if we're united, it's usually like united in that we love something. So uh, I think this is like the first time we've really been united and like we didn't like this. But as we always, as it is good to try different books. Thank you. Thank you for being a good sport. As we do at the end of every stream, we're all readers here. What else did you guys read this month? Anything good that you guys read that that got you through the month? Because I don't think it was this book. So I feel like overall my reading month was kind of mid. Like there's nothing that I read that I was like super stoked about this month. I liked everything that I read better than A Light Most Hateful though. So and just while the chat catches up, I'll just show you. I did post a video about it, but just quickly, I won't go into details. I read The Indifferent Stars Above, which is about the Donner Party. I guess that tells you something if I enjoyed that more than this fiction book, because that book was a downer. Indifferent Stars was a downer. Killers of the Flower Moon, also kind of a downer at parts and very rage-inducing because of the whole scenario. I read God Killer, which was okay. God Killer was okay. And then I had 2 graphic novels, so those were fun. I think these were my 2 favorite of the month. And I wasn't super stoked about either, but they were good. Parasocial and Deadbeats. Would highly recommend either of these. I think they were fun reads. But overall, kind of mid. I'm hoping to change that in February a little bit. I started Out There Screaming, the anthology that's edited by Jordan Peele, already miles above everything I read in January. It's like quality stories, and I'm like, yes, num 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 num. Favorite book you read in January was First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. Usually not a crime thriller reader, but it captured me. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't read a lot of like crime thrillers, but occasionally I dabble. Oh no. Audrey. I don't know if there's a way to like vet the books better, but I feel like I have to do better next time. I feel so bad. I read 18 books in Jan. 18 books. Whoa. Girl, you're my hero. Oh my god. Favorite was Black Sheep by Rachel Harrison. Sorry, the fact that like I almost just read that so casually and then my brain caught up. Holy fuck. Good for you. That's awesome. And I love Rachel Harrison, so I should definitely read another one of hers this month for sure. I read Because I Could Not Stop for Death, an Emily Dickinson mystery. Was so bummed by it. Nothing else of note. No. So many ups and downs. Oh, I'm sure I haven't read Black Sheep yet specifically, but Cackle by Rachel Harrison is one of my favorites. It's so good. Heartstopper 1 through 4, The Silent Patient, The Secret History, and Normal People. Wanted to shoot myself in the face after that, but luckily I read The Color Purple. And that was 5 stars, no question. So The Color Purple saved it for you. Yeah, you were in our Patreon Discord, you were posting a little bit about The Secret History, and it seemed like it was interesting is a word to describe. Did you watch the movie musical that came out though? Or did you just read the book just because? Out There Screaming and say, oh, so you read Out There Screaming already? I just started it. And 6 Deaths of a Saint. Oh, okay. That's nice. Yeah, I'm loving Out There Screaming so far. It's so good. Recommended Such Sharp Teeth. Nice. Currently reading The Woman in Me. The Britney Spears. Love that. So getting back into reading since I had. Oh, nice. Okay. I still wish it was a better pick, but I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you're getting back into reading. That's amazing. And congratulations, even though, you had your daughter in April. It was a couple months ago, but congratulations. Yeah, but you made the mistake of watching the Spielberg movie. Oh, no. Oh, well. Des! Yeah, you missed quite the discussion. I'm sure you can just scroll back in the chat just to see. Really quick, Des, what did you rate A Light Most Hateful? Did you read it? If you read it, I can't remember. Really quick. Was I a fool for thinking Emily Dickinson would be the main character? Maybe? I don't know. The way you initially introduced it sounds like she should be. I'm not sure about the musical. I haven't heard good things, but it's got to be better than that awful. One of my coworkers is like big into theater and things like that. She loves the musical. Like, I mean, she loves like the stage musical and everything. But rated it a 3 or a 4. Yeah, I feel like you were one of the higher ratings, I think. I still have it pulled up. I can see. Hold on. Yeah, I think you were one of the higher ones that I saw for sure. It was yeah. It was interesting. Oh goodness. Okay. Well, we're already technically into February a couple of days, but just really, really quick. Next month's read. Oh, not next month's. This month's read. February's read. I can speak in complete sentences. Is The Reformatory by the light of my life author Tanana Reevdew. I feel like she can do no wrong. So I'm a little ways into it. I've started a little bit. Des already finished it. I can tell this is going to be another one where we're talking about the trauma. That is our theme. Um, so I'm still excited to get through it. I mean, I feel like it's got to be good, even if it's traumatizing. It's got to be good. I hope. So I'm excited to get into that one. I feel like it's a great. If anything, it's a nice pick for Women in Horror Month and Black History Month. So, uh, is it really exactly? Thank you. Our tagline, the Really Book Club. If we aren't talking about trauma, amen. Finally excited to read it. I've had it since it came out and somehow kept myself from read. Yes, all right. Yeah, I'm just a couple of chapters in. I'm excited about it too. So here's hoping in a month's time we gather again. We gather again and we could talk about just how much we loved this book, or at least how much we liked this book. I feel like the bar is set a little bit lower now. So it could be good. It could be good. We did, for the most part, we didn't like this one. So it's like, we got nowhere to go but up, right? Renamed to Trauma Book Club. Maybe. That's definitely our theme. I think that could just be the horror genre, though, to be honest. But all right. There is a read along. I pinned the Creepy Book Club Google Doc. It should be pinned at the top of the chat, and the read along is in there as well. But I think pretty much everybody here was in the read along last time, so I'm sure you hopefully have found the one for the reformatory, so we can read along at that as well. We'll be reading up, and that's going to be one thing too. Like, I guess maybe we should all take bets. Can we do that, Marielle? Is that fun? Can we just like say right now before we leave, if anyone wants to vote and think that Marielle will DNF this or not, and we'll see who's right next month. Is that okay? Can we do that? I'm gonna ask Marielle first, and then by putting her on the spot. Oh, Des, thank you. Told everyone about your White Sarah revisit video. Hopefully it goes well. Everyone keeps finding my YouTube channel from searching Hoysera, or at least that's what my analytics are telling me. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so Shauna, let me make sure I take like a screenshot or something. I am going to vote. Marielle's like mindset. I feel like if we're all voting on it, she may just try and finish it because we're all going to be expecting her not to finish it. But she also would know that, so she might DNF it just to live up to her reputation of occasionally DNFing books. I think I'm going with Des on this one. I think this one is going to be a no DNF. I'm voting no. And Tana, are we saying that by saying you have faith in Marielle, is that a vote that she will not DNF? Shauna doesn't think you will either. Okay. All right. I'm screenshotting this. I'll just take a picture with my phone really quick. Okay. All right, let's see what happens. We'll see what happens. She's gonna finish. Don't let us down. Don't let us down. I feel like she's gonna fake us all out, though. Just watch. That's my prediction. She's gonna fake us out. I'm not sure Marielle has finished a book in her life. Okay, you got to prove us all wrong now, Marielle. Oh, nothing but love in this creepy book club. Let's be honest. Okay. All right, I'll let you all go, but thank you for joining. Thank you for being really good sports with this book. And I hope everyone has a great reading month in February. And we'll meet again in like a month. And let's all see if Marielle is going to DNF this or not. We'll see. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you for coming. Bye.